You're trying to save me, stop holding your breath. And you think I'm crazy, yeah, you think I'm crazy.
Hi my angels, it's Haley Reese, and today we are finally throwing it back and getting back into the Haunted House series. I am so excited to get back into this series because for me it is one of my favorites to film. Like, this house holds so many amazing memories for me, and these stories are nothing shy of insane, which you guys seem to enjoy my insane stories. So not only is it so fun for me to film them, but you guys really enjoy it, and I have just so genuinely missed filming it. The only thing that sucks about filming these videos for you guys is choosing which video I want to film, because I have so many stories for you guys and I really don't know like which one to film at which time, because I get a little bit overwhelmed. I'm like, I want to tell like 50 stories, but there's 30 days in the month and I don't want to overwhelm them. So I decided, why not take a classic character from the original Haunted House series and elaborate a little more on him like I did the Woman in White. If you guys are new to the Haunted House series, I'm going to put a link to the playlist right up here so you guys can go check that out, get all up to date, and then come on back to this video where you get another story. Why not? And while we are on the being new to things, if you are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, I would love it, and the Reese's Pieces would super love it if you would go ahead, click that subscribe button, join our family. I swear to goodness, they are the sweetest, most loving, kind, giving, amazing family I've ever encountered on YouTube, so you definitely want to become one of them if you enjoy my videos. And let's get into this story. So as you guys know, the laundry room was a hot spot for paranormal activity in my haunted house. A psychic even said that there was a vortex portal. My grandma kind of, maybe sort of, I don't know, caught it on camera and has a picture of it. So this room was definitely the main source of paranormal activity. However, like you know, with portals and vortexes, a lot of spirits just come and go. But one that I'm going to talk about today did not come and go. He actually never left this room. The laundry room was his place, and so he has become the man in the laundry room. Now, generations in my family have seen this man in the laundry room. Like, I'm talking like my grandma's generation, and then her kids, and then her kids' kids, like, and then me, and then like even like the grandkids. Like, just so many people saw this man in the laundry room, and so many people had similar experiences. The very first time that I was ever introduced to the man in the laundry room, though, I was probably about 3 or 4 years old, and that was because my cousin, he and I used to spend a ton of time together. My grandma and grandpa babysat a ton of the grandkids, but him and I were always the consistent two that were always being there. I mean, I lived there for a lot of my life, but he was always there. And as you guys know, I'm sure, when there is an older male cousin and a younger female cousin, or even just like older and younger cousins in general, they love to scare the daylights out of you. So it was like my cousin's job to scare me. But now that I look back, I don't even know if in this situation he was ever really trying to scare me. Other situations he definitely was, but with this one, I feel like he was just genuinely scared and wanted to like pass on the fear to me too. So I'll never forget, my cousin and I were sitting in like the rec room of the basement, and he said to me like, we can never ever go back into that laundry room. And I was like, why? And he starts telling me how every time he goes in there, a man gets in his face, yells at him, "Get out!" And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, don't go in there. Now, I never really went in there to begin with, because this laundry room wasn't just a laundry room. Yes, there was a washer, a dryer, and all that jazz, but the other half of it, because it was so big, was like my grandpa's tool area. So my grandparents had always warned us, do not play in the laundry room. You have an entire house to play in. You do not need to play in the laundry room. So I personally hadn't spent a ton of my 3 or 4 years going into there. However, I had always felt super uneasy about the laundry room, and I always would. I would up until the day that we moved out. I spent a ton of time playing in the library section of my house, which is like the nook kind of near the laundry room and kind of near the bedroom in the basement. And I would run as quickly as I could past the laundry room, one, because of the stories that my cousin told me, but two, because it was just a very eerie place, which might have had a lot to do with the portal and the vortex, but doesn't matter. Regardless, I avoided it at all costs. The The very first time that I would ever see the man in the laundry room, though, is something that I will never forget. I was playing with my yo-yo kind of near like the hallway part of the basement. And if you guys don't know what a yo-yo is, how old are you? No, I'm kidding. I'm sure yo-yos are still around, but it's basically like a little thing that you would have a string tied to around your finger, and you would like throw it out and catch it, and you would do all these tricks. And when I was younger, they were a huge thing. Like, it was really, really cool to play with a yo-yo. It's kind of like the 90s version of fidget spinners, so you get the point. And I remember I was trying to do this trick that my older cousins had done, and it took a ton of force to throw the yo-yo, and the yo-yo string was a little big for my finger, and it went flying straight into the laundry room. Convenient, right? But anyways, and I remember I froze there, and I was like, do I go in and get it? What do I do? And before I even have the chance to make the decision, my yo-yo is turned on its side and rolling out of the laundry room, completely wound back up. So like, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. The yo-yo can be placed flat, but you can place it on its side and you can roll it. And my yo-yo was wound completely back up and rolled back out. And I remember I bent down and picked it up, and I was in sheer shock and terror, thinking like, Grandma's the only one home with me. Who just did that in the laundry room? And I decided to not even go look. I picked up my yo-yo and I went to run. And all of a sudden I hear a man's voice yell from the laundry room, "You're welcome," in a very stern, assertive, aggressive way, trying to say like, you could have said thank you. And I go to run, and the part of me's like, Haley, don't look back, don't look back. But right before like I turn to go up the stairs, I bend back, and right standing outside of the laundry room, I see a man just standing there with his hands on his hips with like this stern look on his face. So I ran upstairs as quickly as I could. I told my grandma. She kind of giggles and tells me, well, why don't you hang out up here with me for a little while? And that was what I did. The next time that I would see him in such a strong way would be with my cousin. We decided to steal ice cream sandwiches from the freezer, which is something that I would do for my whole childhood and blame my grandpa, and I never owned up to it until after he passed away, and I feel guilty about it sometimes. Like, I remember one time, I know this is getting off track, just give me 1 second, I had like chocolate all over my face from the ice cream sandwich, and my grandpa came in and said, "You better wipe your face if you're gonna keep pretending it's me." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and he just like giggled and walked away. And like, he knew that it was me all along, but she would yell at him like, "Barry, those are for the kids," like whatever. Aw, such good memories. But anyways, my cousin and I had stolen ice cream sandwiches, and we were in the laundry room and we were eating them as quickly as we could, and all of a sudden my cousin drops like half of his ice cream sandwich, because when they start to melt they get like a little bit mushy, and like there's stuff all over the floor. And so we're like, oh shoot, we have to clean this up or we're gonna get busted. So we're both bent down and we're trying to wipe it up, and it's almost clean, and all of a sudden we feel something like behind us, and all of a sudden we feel like tap tap on our backs. And I remember we looked at each other and then like peeked out of the corner of our eyes, and there was this man once again standing there with his hands on his hips with a very, very like grumpy scowl. Well, my cousin gets up as quick as possible and runs away because he's afraid of this man. And I remember I stood up and I just stared at him. And I stared at him thinking like how human he looked. And I remember I was thinking like, I want to touch him. Like, I want to touch his arm and see if he's like human or what he is. And right when I was like slowly lifting my hand to like go to do it, he just quickly moves his arm, pointing it to the door with that same scowl on his face in a way that I knew he was telling me out. So I start to walk out of the room. Keep in mind there's still like a little bit of ice cream sandwich on the floor and like his wrapper. And I'm thinking of that as I'm leaving, like, okay, we're gonna get busted. And so I run out the door and I get to like the top of the stairs, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I run back down the stairs, I go into the laundry room. Not only is he not in sight, but the ice cream sandwich wrapper is not in sight, and the floor is like clean as can be. Now, in the past, I've told tons of stories revolving around this man, like brief little stories. And just recently at my grandma's birthday party, her 70th, and everyone started talking about my YouTube channel and how it's so cool that I'm sharing these stories from our past and like people are actually enjoying them. And no word of a lie, you guys, people that I didn't even know had spent time in this house start telling me like, did you guys ever see the man in the basement, the one in the laundry room? And they start telling these stories. And I remember one of my aunts, who I had no idea had even slept there, told me how she had stayed there for a week and how she had like a ton of like luggage with her. And so she didn't want to leave it all in the room because like the bedroom had a bunch of other stuff. So she unpacked everything from like her suitcase and put her luggage bags into the laundry room. And every single day when she would come back to the house, her luggage would be out of the laundry room back into her room. And she's like, what the heck? And so she puts it back into the laundry room, goes, does her thing, comes back, it's back in her room. My grandma and my grandpa were like, we don't care where you put your luggage. If you want to put it in there, you put it in there. And finally one night, she had put her luggage right before bed into the laundry room. She wakes up in the night, sees her luggage there, and right next to her luggage, there is a scowling man with his hands on his hips and a grumpy face. She watches him walk out of the room and turn towards the laundry room. Now, my family has some conspiracy theories around what they think this man's purpose was and what they think about him. Let's start with Grams's. What does Grandma think about the man in the laundry room? My grandma thinks that the man in the laundry room is like a very protective, assertive spirit, and so in her mind, she thinks that he always yelled at the kids, "Get out!" because he was trying to keep us all safe from being in like the tool part of the laundry room. Okay. He used to yell at like every generation. Like I'm talking when my uncles were small, the man in the laundry room yelled at them to get out. All of my cousins, he yelled at them to get out. Like he was always like kicking people out of there. My aunt's conspiracy theory around it is that maybe he is like the guardian of the vortex and the portal, and he's so grumpy and mean and assertive because he makes sure that nothing evil comes in. Perhaps like this house, this area was his before ours, and he wants to make sure nothing evil is coming in. Who knows, but that's what she thinks. I don't know what I think. All I know is that he was very much real in the experiences that I had, and I saw him there as if he were a human. Sometimes I wonder if he was so like prominently here because he was always near the portal and the vortex, and maybe he gained some sort of like powers from it. I don't know. Now I'm talking crazy again, but hey, would I be Haley Reese if I didn't talk crazy? I don't know. I just really wanted to touch on this brief story, kind of end the chapter of the man in the laundry room, and start onto these new stories that you guys have yet to hear. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this man in the laundry room. Do you think that he was an evil spirit? Do you think that he was a grumpy spirit? Do you think that he was a ghost? Do you think he lived there before? Talk it out, be kind to one another, but let me know what you guys think, because like I always say, there is nothing more that I love than to sit here and read through your comments and see what you guys think of all of this. I have some pretty crazy stories and things that I'm touching on this week on my channel. So like I said, if you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button. You definitely do not want to miss this week's videos. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. That makes my heart super happy and I love it. So please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.